looking live at the view of the eclipsing sun over downtown Wilmington. Right now, the camera is mounted on the top of our studios. In less than an hour, it will be almost entirely covered by the shadow of the moon. Good afternoon and welcome to WWAY's special coverage of the Great American Solar Eclipse 2017. I'm Daniel Siemens, joined by meteorologist Helen Holt and Chief Meteorologist Scott Dean. I'm telling you, this is an exciting time, guys.
I can't get the smile off my face. Yeah. This is just amazing. When I first came into the studio and saw the live shot that our engineers had on top of our roof, you could see the sunspots. It was so incredibly crisp. And then we had that mid-level deck of clouds come in, and it gets at times it gets a little bit of fuzzy, and we may have to deal with that at times. In fact, we're seeing a little bit of that right now. You can see that image starting to get a little faded, but you can see those clouds. But hopefully, we're going to get more opportunities to see this as the high and mid-level clouds come in.
When we walked out immediately when the event actually started, and we just we're in awe. It's so neat to see something like this happen right in front of our eyes, so it's an exciting time. Once in a
lifetime event for most of us, and I'll tell you, it makes you feel like a kid again.
It really does. It really does. I'm 51 years old. I feel like I'm 12 years old.
So I really do. When we're on camera, you'll be able to see our live camera of the eclipse, weather permitting, right there in the lower right corner of the screen.
And we want you to be interacting with us throughout this. You can send us your questions via email at newsroom@WWAYTV3.com, or if you're watching this on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, post your comments in the comment section. We'll try to answer those to you during this special webcast. We'd also love to see those pictures as well and how you're enjoying this big event. Post them on our Facebook and Twitter accounts using the hashtag EclipseWWAY.
And of course, we have been talking about this eclipse for months now, but what exactly is happening? Scott explains.
All right, let's go to our graphics computer here because this is the very latest visible satellite. This is from the GOES 16 satellite picture. Brand new satellite, high resolution, and you can see earlier on we had some showers that blew up, and those are the bright white clouds, an indication of some of those heavy showers. We're unfortunately starting to see some more convection or showers blowing up down towards Horry County, and the upper level flow is blowing those clouds in from the south and west, and that's what we're seeing here in Wilmington. Really? Periodically we're seeing that overcast begin to thin out a little bit, as you can see right about there, and then we start to see another area of high cloudiness coming in. What we don't want is the low clouds and the mid-level clouds. That's obscuring the sun, and that's what makes our image a little bit more fuzzy. But at times we're seeing some clearing skies, and if you're watching from up towards Whiteville over towards Elizabethtown, you are really getting a show right now with mostly clear skies. So this is what's going on with the solar eclipse. It's a very rare event, and you can see that the Earth is orbiting around the sun, as it always does, and the moon orbits around the Earth, as it always does. At times, the configuration between the sun, the moon, and the Earth can be set up where the actual moon's shadow that's being cast by the sun is going to situate itself between the Earth and the sun, and you get that shadow. Now, in this particular case, there are two different parts of the shadow. The penumbra, which is the partial shadow, which is most of North America is seeing right now, and also we get the total shadow, or the full shadow, called the umbra, and that's where totality happens. Now, it all has to come together perfectly. If the moon's orbit is a little bit farther away from the Earth, well, then the moon is a little bit smaller, and that umbra shadow, the total shadow, never reaches the surface of the Earth. That's not the case here. Let's take a look at what's happening as what you'll actually see. We're now starting to see the moon getting in front of the sun, as you can see on the lower right-hand part of your screen. And actually what we think is going to happen is, this is at 2:48 this afternoon, we're going to see about 96 to 97% of the sun that will be eclipsed, and it's possible that we could see some stars. The animals, the birds, will start to go to roost. There's going to be confusion there, and it's really going to be something to see. Unfortunately for us here in Wilmington, we're not going to get in totality, which means that we're not going to get to the point where you see right before the totality, where you start to see what is called Bailey's beads, where you actually see the sunlight that's shining through the valleys of the moon, the craters of the moon, and also we don't get that diamond light that happens right before totality. And when totality is occurring, you don't get to see the bright corona that is shining off the surface of the sun, which is so much hotter than the surface of the sun, which is 11,000 degrees Fahrenheit, so incredibly hot. But we're not going to get to see that. But what I want to stress to you is, even though we get to 97%, you still don't want to look at the solar eclipse with unaided filters, because you can damage your eyesight. Now, what's going to happen is, as the moon moves away, we'll start to see the sunlight begin to come out. So, again, we're watching this very closely. As we take a look at the current radar right now, you do see that we do have some showers around just to the south there. It all depends on where you are, guys.
All right. Thank you, Scott. So, we're just getting started here. We have our team scattered around the area as well this afternoon. We're not just in the studios. We're out there with you, taking part in some of the eclipse watch parties. Let's head to Airlie Gardens and check in with Randy Aldridge and Hannah Patrick.
Thank you, Daniel. Here at Airlie Gardens, the crowds are getting bigger and the sun is getting smaller, but I think I have the #1 fan of the Eclipse of 2017 here with me. This is Harrison Childs. Tell everybody hello, Harrison.
Hello.
That's Daniel. Say hey, Daniel.
Hey, Daniel.
So, Harrison, you were telling me earlier, you've been here for quite a while watching this. What do you think about the eclipse so far?
That is a crescent and it's pretty fun.
It's pretty fun? So the size of it now is about what?
A crescent.
Like a crescent roll kind of thing?
Yeah, a crescent.
So he's actually been here all day taking part in all the stuff they do. Harrison, tell me about some of the activities you've done.
I did this. It's a bracelet, changes colors. We did a eclipse drawing. We made a sign.
Has it been a lot of fun?
Yes.
So what's been your favorite thing so far?
Watching the eclipse, hanging out with my friend Theo.
Okay, tell everybody what the eclipse looks like as it's happening. What have you been seeing?
It's been a nipple and then it's gone down and then it back up.
And you can see it really good through your glasses, right?
Yes.
So there you go. There you go. So he was telling me he is really into science and math and watching maps. So this is exciting for you. Tell everybody what you did today with your rocket.
It's only like this big. It's a straw rocket, and like everything that we crushed it, so the nose kind of it there just comes out, so
right.
It won't launch anymore.
Right. So he launched a rocket earlier today with a parachute, right?
No, the parachute was just a test sign that I broke in there.
All right. Well, real quick, if you want to see the eclipse, what do?
You put on these glasses and look at the sun.
That sounds perfect.
For a while, then you take them off and look at the ground, and then you come back.
That's perfect. And you've got your friend Theo here. Come over here and show us how it's done, Theo, real quick. Real quick, Theo. Everybody.
For too long, it gets blue.
That's right. So put your glasses on and tell everybody bye. Say bye, Daniel.
Bye, Daniel.
Bye, Daniel. Bye, Daniel.
Bye, Daniel.
All right. Hey, guys, y'all enjoy yourself out there. If you have not gotten your Eclipse safety glasses like those kiddos, you're probably too late unless you're attending an event like the one at Airlie that is giving them out. Check out this scene. This was just last Friday at Stevens Ace Hardware in Wilmington after the store got one last shipment of glasses, 1,000. The first customer arrived to reserve glasses at 11 a.m. By the time it was 1, when the store had planned to start selling them, all of those 1,000 glasses were reserved. If you do not have glasses, you can still view the eclipse without looking at the sun. In fact, there are a lot of items in your house that you can use to make a pinhole camera, like a cereal box or a shoe box with a little aluminum foil and tape. But that's not all. Kit Doe explains.
This sounds crazy, but one of the best alternatives to viewing the eclipse is with the...
The farther south you go in our area, the closer you are to the path of totality. And you cannot get much farther south in our area than Ocean Isle Beach. And that is where Silver Coast Winery is serving up another watch party, including WWAY Storm Track 3 meteorologist Justin McKee. Justin.
Good afternoon. We are live here at Silver Coast Winery in Ocean Isle Beach at their Eclipse party. Unfortunately, got a little bit of clouds and rain. My friend Peggy here, it was nice enough to let me borrow her umbrella. We are hoping that the clouds and the rain are going to clear out before we hit the peak coverage at 2:48. I can see the blue sky off in the distance, so we're all still hanging out here. You know, the music's playing, plenty of wine, plenty of soda for the kids out here. And we are going to talk to Peggy. You're from Richmond, Virginia, but you're down here visiting Ocean Isle Beach, right?
Yes, I was invited down specifically for this party.
Awesome, and you're visiting some friends, I hear, correct?
Yeah, Maria and Jim from the farm.
Awesome, and have you ever seen an eclipse before?
I saw a partial one back in, I think it was the 70s.
1979, I believe. Yeah. So, what do you think of the winery here doing something so fun for the eclipse?
I think everyone should be here. I mean, it's only a little bit of rain, but it's not dampening anyone's spirit. We're having a great time. Come on down. It's not too late.
Yeah, people dancing, you know, having a really good time here at the winery. So this is going to be going on until 4:30. Of course, I mentioned the peak eclipse that we're going to see here in Ocean Isle Beach is about 98%. That's going to happen at 2:48. Eclipse going to end just after 4, and then this event is going to end at 4:30. It's $5 for kids, and you get a free drink along with a ticket to the winery. And then for adults, it's $10, and you get one wine or beer or a soda and the ticket to the winery. They are out of the Eclipse glasses here, so if you do come down, you're going to either have to bring your own glasses or you're just not going to be able to watch the eclipse. But they do have our webcast streaming inside here, so there are ways to watch the eclipse even though we got the clouds and the rain here. Going to keep on doing my not rain dance and get this out of here over the next hour or two. But for now, from Ocean Isle Beach, I'm Justin McKee, and we'll send things back over to Early Gardens.
Thank you, Justin. We hope the rain wraps up here shortly. Check it out. There we go. You see in the bottom of your screen, that is a live look at the eclipse as it's happening from our rooftop. Actually, we've got a camera up there giving you real time of all the excitement happening right now.
You just walked out.
I did, and kudos to Marty. I went upstairs, up on the roof, and I said, man, great job. You guys are doing a fabulous job. It's amazing what you can capture on those filters. I did just step outside, and you can notice, and this is basically, you know, the partial eclipse is going on right now. There was a little bit of a hole in the deck of the clouds coming in, but also I was noticing that the shadows on the ground are not as sharp right now. There's a little bit, it's fading a little bit, and I have a feeling what's going to happen. And I've never seen a partial eclipse of this magnitude in my life. It's going to be interesting because when we get close to 97%, I do believe that we're going to see it get dark very quickly. And you'll notice it, and that's when we may see some stars come out for a brief period. And there's a live shot in Nashville, Tennessee, and I understand Nashville has not seen a total eclipse the last time 500 years. That's how rare this event is. And you've heard a lot. Yeah, just amazing view there as we're looking more and more. And Helen, I think she just stepped outside and she was looking through her glasses. What did you see out there?
It's crazy how quickly this event is happening. Just, you know, about an hour ago it was starting, and now it's, you know, it looks like more than halfway to, you know,
that's a crisp shot right there.
97% totality at the peak, coming up in just about 25 minutes or so.
We mentioned earlier how hard it is to find the special glasses that you need to watch the eclipse, and if you don't have them, your best bet is to stick with us. We'll show you the eclipse. WWAY's Justin McKee went to an expert to find out why it's so important to wear them.
If you're viewing the sun directly, it only takes 100 seconds, which is less than 2 minutes.
In less than 2 minutes while you're viewing the solar eclipse on August 21st, you can cause real damage to your eyes.
Direct viewing of the sun can cause solar retinopathy, and after eclipse we always see cases of this.
Damage to the retina, or solar retinopathy, is caused by prolonged exposure to solar radiation. The health effects are no joke.
Loss of vision, light sensitivity, distortion. If you experience any of those, you should come in right away.
This doesn't mean you can't view the first solar eclipse visible across the lower 48 states since 1918. You just need the proper protection. And no, Sunglasses are not going to cut it.
Some of those cases too, again, come from people thinking that their sunglasses are enough, and that is not the case.
You need special Eclipse glasses to view the event on the 21st. They block out a much higher percentage of UV rays than normal sunglasses. Those old glasses you have from a prior eclipse, throw them out.
It's a recommendation that you purchase new ones every time. They're very inexpensive. They're not designed really to last, so they don't really hold up.
To safely view an event that's nearly 100 years in the making.
All right, we're back with Scott. We got Helen, and as you see in the bottom of the screen, we have a solar eclipse happening in the Cape Fear. We're getting to witness it firsthand.
You can go outside and check it out for yourself if you have the glasses, or if you don't, you can just watch it right here live.
I mean, that's a really clear shot. The clouds have cleared up.
It really is amazing. I just stepped outside for just a brief moment, and when you look at this thing through the glasses, it just is not, it's surreal. It doesn't seem like you're actually, it almost looks like it's been painted there for you. Even though there's a thin veil of clouds, it really doesn't look real. And it looks a little bit faint out there as far as the daylight is concerned, but still, I think if you didn't know this was going on, it still has not gotten dark enough to say, well, what's going on here? Something weird's happening. So I know that it really, when you get into the area of totality, that's when it really is amazing. But 97%, it's just going to be interesting when we get into that at
about 20 minutes.
Yeah, about 20 minutes, how dark it's going to get around here.
I've heard people relate to it at totality in like our area, it being more like sunset or something like that. So, you know, still light,
right,
but when the sun's about to go down.
Right, right. And you may be able to see some of the brightest stars out there. I just don't know. We'll just have to see how it sets up. In fact, if we can go to the weather graphics here, I've got a satellite picture, a loop here. And unfortunately, areas near the coast are experiencing these areas of high clouds, which is obscuring the sun. And also we're seeing some showers down in Horry County, and you can see some of that moving up into Columbus County, into western Brunswick County. At times we're getting a hole in the overcast, but it looks like more of those clouds are now starting to move up into our area. Now, if you're watching northwest of us, you can see up towards Elizabethtown, over towards Whiteville, you're seeing a lot more sunshine out there. And if you do have those glasses, you're seeing a brilliant, crisp disk or a bite being taken out of the sun by the moon that's moving through the area. So if you can't see it right now, then we have that live shot that's going on top of our rooftop.
And we have just a couple showers down in Brunswick County and a few over in just very eastern portions of Bladen County and western portions of Pinter County, but most places are just dealing with that mixture of sun and clouds, and that's super hard to forecast, you know, exactly where those clouds are going to be, so it just going in and out of our picture here, but it looks like a beautiful view right now.
It is, and so, well, let's see, so we're about, what, 15 to 20 minutes away, and it looks, I mean, it's fascinating just to watch the time and it kind of play out right before your eyes.
Right, what's amazing about this is the sun is about 400 times larger than the Earth.
Okay.
Okay, well, the moon is about 400 times closer to us than the sun. So that works out perfectly where you get this configuration where it totally blocks out the sun. Now there's also what's called a solar annular eclipse, which is where the moon is a little bit farther out in the orbit, and so the umbra, or the total shadow, never reaches the surface of the Earth, just the partial shadow. So what ends up happening is you get the moon that goes in front of the sun, and you get a ring around the moon of sunlight, but not this case.
Not this case. We are seeing some beauty. Mother Nature is cooperating with us in the downtown Wilmington. Check it out, guys. This is real time. This is from the roof of our studios in downtown Wilmington. You are looking at the Great American Solar Eclipse 2017. I'm joined again with Helen and Scott, who have been glued to the video inside and then taking little short trips outside too to experience it firsthand.
We've been taking turns, like tag teaming, going back and forth to check it out. And I just walked out there, and I was describing kind of like, you know, one of the dimmer lights, and you kind of turn it down just a little bit. That's what it looks like, because normally this time would be, you know, super bright outside in the afternoon, and now it's just dimmed just a little bit. It's so
It's a good way to Explain it, because that dimmer switch is not, you're still getting the light, but it's just a little bit faint. Okay, I understand that we have meteorologist Stephanie Waldrop standing by just outside of Charleston, South Carolina, where all kinds of crowds are happening. Stephanie.
Hey everybody, I am live right now from Awanda, South Carolina. It's almost right in the middle of the path of totality. It's dark here. We've been able to see it for the most part, but right now actually there's a big fluffy cumulus cloud right on top of me. I'm going to flip the camera around. Excuse me. We're going to flip this around so I can look up the sun. Right there. You see how thick that cloud is? But if we look at all of this, there's a lot of blue space that's coming in behind these clouds as these clouds continue to move off. So what I'm really hoping for is that it's 2:43 right now. We've got about 3 minutes until totality. Totality here, right where I am, starts at 2:46 here in the afternoon. So we're about 3 minutes out. It lasts for about 2 minutes until 2:48. So it's quick and it's brief. And when it does happen, it's going to get dark. It's already gotten dark. I'm starting to hear the animals really start to make noises. Starting to hear those crickets and everything. I'm going to be quiet here for a second. Maybe you can hear it. We're hearing some thunder too. There must be a rain shower in the thing. So yeah, there's a lot happening right here. Okay, I'm going to point this. We're almost there. We can almost see it. I'm going to put my glasses on so I can look up. It's still pretty covered by clouds. But this is pretty cool. People are starting to get excited. This is kind of a weird feeling. It's 2:44 in the afternoon. We're 2 minutes away from totality right now. And we are, it feels like either one, before a big thunderstorm, or two, right before the sun starts to set. You can start to see behind me that the things are starting to really just kind of darken up. There's a lot of people here. People have their animals. There was a live concert. Okay, I'm going to send it back to the studio now. 2 minutes from totality. So live here from Awanda, South Carolina, in the path of totality. Meteorologist Stephanie Waldrop, WWAY.
So check that out.
But even if you just walk outside, you see a noticeable difference. You don't have to look up at the sun. You can just walk outside, peek out your window, look out the door, and you can notice a difference of what, compared to a normal afternoon around the region. So pretty neat. Scott, you just went back out there.
Yep, I sure did. And the way I would describe it is it's almost like you've changed seasons, because in and around November, December, when you get towards the winter solstice where the sun is very low, even though you may go into the middle part of the day with a lower sun angle, it's not as bright and as crisp. When we just hit totality there.
Yep, Charleston, South
Carolina. So there you go. We're at the height of it right now, pretty much.
And you're talking blackout right there. They were right in the 100%, I guess, totality.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting down there if they're seeing the stars down in South Carolina with totality. I'm thinking here, even with only 3% of the sun showing, I just stepped outside, it's probably not going to get that dark. As you can see, there we're in it right now. There's the
That's ours.
When you see us, Scott, you did a good job explaining why we have to keep moving the camera. It's not like we're just shooting the sun right there. It's changing with us as we watch everything unfold.
Yeah, and there are special telescopes that actually have configured in them where they will move with the orbit, with the orbit of the Earth. And if, for instance, if they're focused in on stars, a star, they can actually calculate how quickly that's moving. It stays in the middle of your screen.
That's our superstars, the Good Morning Carolina team, checking out. They're following everybody's advice by using their solar eclipse. They're at Airlie Gardens, a watch party out there, in case you're curious, and just. When you go to these watch parties, we were doing it earlier today in the parking lot when everything first started. It's almost bizarre to you see everybody staring up at the sky. So let's get back to Randy and Hannah, who have their eyes to the sun and the solar eclipse right now, guys.
There it goes.
There's just a little sliver.
Yeah, Daniel, it is amazing, and it's just amazing. You guys, what do you think of it? Is it cool?
My glasses fell down.
Are you having fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost time, right?
My glasses were like that,
and there's also someone out here who's been helping people take pictures with their phones, which has been really cool because we didn't know how to do that. Did you take a picture with your phone?
I did. It didn't turn out at all like I thought it was going to.
I
Oh, good, good. All right, everybody, can you all look at the camera and say, back to you, Daniel.
Back to you, Daniel.
Bye.
Oh, we are having a great time sharing this experience with you. This is again from our downtown, from the roof of our downtown studios here at WWAY on Front Street, and you're seeing we are basically just over the peak time, but nonetheless it is still just magical to watch the sun now appearing on the other side. This whole thing, this started on the other side of the country in Oregon. We started seeing our first images come in late this morning, early this afternoon, and then as it made its way across the country, we've been checking in places like Nashville and other locations that are in that path of totality. We are just outside the path of totality, but I mean,
now it's passing Charleston.
Now it's passing, yeah. So we're just over the peak in Charleston, South Carolina, where it's basically wrapping up. It kind of goes out over the water, but this was the final land, I believe, the land spot for people to check out the solar eclipse.
Yeah, and you can see where it is cloudy in Charleston right now. It'll be very interesting when I talked with my sister who was down in Kingsville, or Kingstree, South Carolina.
Kingstree,
yeah, that's where she was. And it would be very interesting if they saw the stars for a brief moment during totality, because we stepped outside and it's very noticeable. I mean, it's like a dimmer switch has been put on. But you clearly can't see any stars, and I wasn't sure what we'd see, and now I know. At 3% is enough to keep the sky fairly blue. And there are people walking around and they have no idea what's going on. Like, dude, come on, it's going on.
Well, I guess if they do have an idea and they don't have any glasses, you still can't look up.
I'm a scientist. I'm a geek. I know.
Well,
it really brings it out in you.
You know, for the scientists and geeks, and to the just straight up average person like me who is far from a scientist, we started the show off giddy, and it's still that experience as we look at real-time video from places like Charleston and here in Wilmington. Very similar images in Charleston and Wilmington we're seeing.
And we want to see your photos. Scott and I just took a photo outside when we were watching it, and I tweeted it out, #Eclipse WWAY. You can do it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that, all our social media outlets. We would love to see them. And you can share them right now.
Oh, back out at Airlie Gardens, where
lots of folks
our
out there.
Good Morning Carolina crew is. You see Hannah just on the left, but look at everybody out there taking part, communities coming together to experience this, is something that those kids will be talking about for many, many years to come, maybe possibly sharing the experience again. We said, was it 2024 is our next chance?
Yes, that's the next time North America will see, or at least the United States will see a total eclipse. And I believe the path starts in Texas and then moves up to the northeast through the Tennessee Valley and up into the Mid-Atlantic. We will not be seeing the amount of totality that we saw here at 97%. I don't know how much it's going to be, but it's going to be much less than that.
And it's not like a coast to coast what we're seeing today.
That's right.
That was a rarity in itself. These kids one day, in 7 years, they'll be able to say, back in the day, we saw it. Man, that's good times out there. But if you look at the shadows, you can it kind of gives you the contrast that you're looking for. This is shooting straight up at the sun. Looks pitch black out there because of because of the eclipse. But then when we show those shots like Airlie Gardens on the ground, you see the sun and you see the shadows. So
yeah, and the reason why that looks so black is because we have this powerful filter on the camera lens to protect the lens.
Yeah.
And that's all you can see. And that's what's amazing about these glasses that you put on, is you step outside and, well, I can still see the sun, and it's still bright up there, and then you put this on, and you're like, wow, that looks just like what we're seeing on TV.
It does.
You can't just walk around with the special glasses on. You can't see anything.
Oh, gosh, you run into poles, trees, everything. They are almost pitch black for a reason.
To protect your eyes. That's why you cannot wear your regular sunglasses out there. So.
Well, there you see it, guys. And we want to reiterate, because we want to share some of the imagery you've seen. This coming out of Idaho Falls, totality viewed in Idaho Falls.
And what you're looking at there, that's what's called the corona.
Okay.
You're seeing the brightness around the sun, which you can't see. The only time you can see that here on the surface is when you have a total eclipse of the sun, and that's the hottest part of the sun. It's not the actual sun surface, but it's the corona that the scientists are trying to figure out why that part of the sun is so much hotter than the actual surface, which in itself is hot, 11,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty toasty.
That's pretty toasty. That'll cook you. SPF a gazillion.
Yeah.
As we get these, this is being billed as possibly the most viewed event of its kind in history, because over the years, the media that's taking part in this, NASA and all the scientists around the country who are doing, here was another one from Oregon.
That's Bailey's bead. That's that Bailey beads effect. What you're looking at is sunlight is shimmering through the valleys and the craters of the surface of the moon. How cool is that?
Wow.
NASA giving us some of these spectacular views, and you know that they're going to be releasing over the next days and weeks some of the stuff they've captured of the event, because they can use this for all kinds of research. That is a very impressive. This is back in Wilmington, and we are seeing what looks like, I'm trying to take it all in as we're seeing this. It looks like, I guess, clouds moving in, possibly.
Well, what you're seeing is now that we've passed the peak of it at 97%, now we're seeing the right side of the sun's disk now showing up, and that crescent will get slowly larger and larger and larger until finally the moon passes away from the sun, and that happens at, I believe it's 4:09, I believe is when that ends, and the eclipse is officially over here.
And this is the new moon cycle.
That's right. You can only get a solar eclipse in the new moon phase, because the new moon is when the moon is between the sun and the earth. And you might be asking yourself, well, why don't we have an eclipse every time there's a new moon? Well, it has to do with the configuration of where the moon is in relationship to the earth. And it's only a rare case where you can get the actual shadow of the moon that is cast on the earth. Part of the reason is because the moon's orbit is not a perfect circle. It's an elliptical. So sometimes it doesn't set up perfectly where you can get an eclipse. And there are eclipses regularly on the earth, just very rare in one particular spot. Like I said, Nashville, last time they had one was 500 years ago.